Shalom, fellow believers called out of darkness into his marvelous light. Today, with the help of the set-apart Spirit, I want to share with you a most serious issue, the doctrine of the Trinity. I realize many who listen may be deeply offended. If so, you need to examine your own hearts. Yahweh offends our minds to reveal to us what is often in our hearts. The scriptures also teach that those who love Yahweh's Torah are not easily offended. In Psalm 119, verse 165, it says, "Great peace have they which love thy Torah, and nothing shall offend them." They have always been precious, born-again believers filled with the set-apart Spirit who have questioned the truthfulness of this doctrine, the doctrine of the Trinity. Sadly, history records that several of these sincere believers have had to pay with their lives for challenging the church on this issue. The scripture identifies the nature of false teachers. Listen to Jude chapter 1, verse 11. "Woe to them, for they went the way of Cain, and gave themselves up to the error of Balaam for reward, and perished in the rebellion of Korah." This verse reveals three interesting facts about false teachers. Number one, they've gone the way of Cain. In other words, they have murdered, by word or by deed, brothers who disagree with them. Number two, these false teachers have given themselves up to the error of Balaam. In other words, they proclaim a message which is most profitable to them. Believe me, if you are a minister and you oppose the Trinitarian doctrine, you may soon find yourself looking for another job. For this reason, is it possible that the teachers of this Trinitarian doctrine may have sold their birthright into the kingdom for a bowl of lentil soup? See Hebrews chapter 12, verse 16. Number three, they have perished in the rebellion of Korah. This is a most serious warning. There are many so-called New Covenant teachers and theologians who openly and frequently oppose and diminish the teachings of Moses. They boldly state that Jesus came to do away with the law or the Torah of Moses. This false statement is in direct opposition to Yeshua, found in Matthew chapter 5, verse 17 to 19. He says, "Do not think that I came to destroy the Torah or the prophets. I did not come to destroy, but to complete or to make perfect the teachings of the Torah. For truly I say to you, till the heaven and the earth pass away, one yud or one tittle shall by no means pass from the Torah till all be done. Whoever then breaks one of the least of these commands and teaches men so shall be called least in the reign of the heavens. But whoever does and teaches them, he shall be called great in the reign of the heavens." Many Christian leaders and theologians have firmly embedded themselves into the doctrine of the Trinity. They openly proclaim that it should be clear that any adequate presentation of the Christian worldview must have the doctrine of the Trinity as its heart, for the simple reason that it is the central truth of the Christian religion. My dear brothers and sisters, the origins of the Trinity doctrine are appalling. There has been much deceit and bloodshed. Many lives were lost before Trinitarianism was finally and eventually adopted by the church. Quote, "Many thousands of people were killed, even by states, in past centuries, for their refusal to accept this doctrine as biblical. Even as late as the 1700s, people were still being burned at the stake for their denial of this man-made doctrine. An example was Michael Servetus, who was burned at the stake by Calvin for this reason." Quote again, Fighting confusion and killing is not God's way of converting people to believe in a biblical doctrine. However, this is what early Trinitarian advocates said. The day was to come when the Nicene Trinitarian party won out completely, and then the emperors who wished to prevent any more quarrels decreed that one who denied the Trinity should be put to death. This law was later to be used against Christians who would not accept the Trinitarian doctrine. However, several bishops were horrified that the truth, or the Trinity, should be defended by the shedding of blood or murder. Also in the laws written and compiled by the Emperor Justinian, called the Code of Justinian, we find that the practice of murdering all non-Trinitarians continued well past AD 550. The Code says that any who refuse to believe in the Trinity and any who request baptism shall be put to death. Quote from the Church of Our Fathers by R.H. Bainton, page 46 and page 63. Close quote. History shows us that more Christians were killed by other Christians over the Trinity doctrine than were killed by pagan emperors of Rome. My dear brothers and sisters, it remains unfathomable to this day how anyone could follow the teachings of Calvin, for he was a murderer and a tyrant. Martin Luther was no better. He was also a fraud who taught many false doctrines and also persecuted the Jewish people. Listen to some of the anti-Semitic quotes by Martin Luther about Jewish people. The Jews deserve to be hanged on gallows 7 times higher than ordinary thieves. We ought to take revenge on the Jews and kill them. The blind Jews are truly stupid fools. Now just behold these miserable, blind, and senseless people. Eject them forever from this country. They are nothing but thieves and robbers. What then shall we do with this damned, rejected race of Jews? Such a desperate, thoroughly evil, poisonous, and devilish lot are these Jews. We are at fault for not slaying them. I shall give you my sincere advice. First, to set fire to their synagogues or schools, and to bury and cover with dirt whatever will not burn, so that no man will ever again see a stone or cinder of them. Unfortunately for the Jewish people, Hitler read Luther's writings and was inspired by them. Let us be very clear on these issues, my brothers and sisters. There are many wonderful, born-again, spirit-filled believers in the church. But Jesus did not come into this world to start a religion called Christianity, an organization called the church. This movement was established by evil men inspired by doctrines of demons. Yeshua called us back to the ancient paths of our fathers Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Jeremiah 6 verse 16 says, Thus said Yahweh, stand in the ways and see, and ask for the old paths where the good way is, and walk in it, and find rest for yourselves. But they said, we will not do it. And they're still saying to this day, we will not walk in those paths. And I raised up watchmen over you, he said. Listen, a voice of a shofar. But they said, we do not listen. We will not walk in these ancient paths. And they rejected it. Hear, O earth, see, I am bringing evil upon this people, even the fruit of their thoughts, because they have not listened to my words, nor my Torah, and they've rejected them. Addressing the religious leaders of the day, Yeshua pronounced a judgment on their generation for murdering the prophets sent by Yahweh. In Luke 11, verse 15, he says, so that the blood of all the prophets which was said from the foundation of the world shall be required of this generation. Will the blood of Christian martyrs who rejected the Trinitarian doctrine be on the heads of those leaders and believers today who proclaim and continue to passionately proclaim that the heresy of the Trinitarian doctrine? This is truly a Jezebelic doctrine of demons. Listen to 1 Timothy 4 verse 1. But the Spirit distinctly says that in the latter times some shall fall away from the belief, paying attention to misleading spirits and teachings of demons, speaking lies in hypocrisy, having been branded on their own conscience. My brothers and sisters, if you believe this devilish doctrine long enough, you will struggle to get out of it. There's a price to pay for distorting and misrepresenting Yahweh's truth. Listen to Isaiah 24. Pay careful attention from verse 1. See, Yahweh is making the earth empty and making it a waste, and shall overturn its surface, and shall scatter abroad its inhabitants. And it shall be as with a people, so with a priest, and with a servant, so with his master, as with a female servant, so with her mistress, as with a buyer, so with a seller, as with a lender, so with a borrower, as with a creditor, so with a debtor. The earth is completely emptied and utterly plundered, for Yahweh has spoken this word. Why? The earth shall mourn and wither, the world shall languish and wither, the haughty people on the earth shall languish. Why? For the earth has been defiled and its inhabitants, because they have transgressed the Torah and have broken the everlasting covenant. Therefore a curse shall consume the earth, and those who dwell in it be punished. Therefore the inhabitants of the earth shall be burned, and few men shall be left. Christians will not be saved by the rapture until they've been purified by Yahweh's truth, his Torah. This will happen through much loss, pain, and suffering during the Great Tribulation. I leave you with this one last plea, my dear brothers and sisters. Revelation 18 verse 4 says, And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, lest you share in her sins, and lest you receive of her plagues. It's time to separate yourself from any person or organization who have committed themselves in preaching and teaching this demonic doctrine of the Trinity. May Yahweh bless you, my fellow Christian brothers and sisters, and open your eyes and hearts to his truth and his love for you. Shalom.